Hello, my name is Adele, and it is my pleasure to guide you through the process of emotional self exploration, also known as the PESE. Daily experiences and our reactions to them can be pathways to healing and growth. When we experience an activation, we can find great benefit from connecting with our internal mechanism of vulnerability that's become activated. This method can allow for a deeper understanding of the unprocessed emotion and memories fueling the activation, providing clarity regarding needs, including how to best navigate some of life's challenges. This process also facilitates the activation of our inner healing intelligence, offering us an opportunity to take charge of our own healing and growth, and to respond to situations in a manner we were not able to in the past. The PESE is an internal process. Even when questions are asked, the invitation is to contemplate the answers within. There will also be time for reflection at the end of the experience. A couple of tips before we get started. Partway through the PESE, I will invite you to call in a childhood memory. It's important to invite the memory rather than going to look for it. Sometimes the PESE can work best when calling in earlier memories from childhood and memories that are specific versus a vague sense or recollection. That being said, if a later childhood or adolescent memory is calling for your attention, your care, then go with it. When the time comes to connect to a memory, breathe, relax, and let that memory find you. It can come to you right away, or it can take a few moments. If it takes some time, just know the investment will be worth it. Finally, later in the PESE, I will invite you to imagine different scenes. If your primary imaginative modality is not through visualization, then the invitation is to sense the actions, sense the scenes. Okay, let's begin. I invite you to take a few deep breaths to settle into the present moment. Find a posture that allows you to feel both alert and relaxed. Next, bring to mind an experience that upset you or activated you within the last day or two. Take a moment to identify the activation you'd like to work with, including pausing this recording if needed. And remember, all activations, minor or major, can lead to healing and growth. For example, you may have had a reaction to something someone did or didn't do, or something someone did or didn't say. Maybe you had a reaction to an email in your inbox, or to a driver in traffic, or even a scene in a movie. Any activation will do. Keeping that recent experience in mind and your reaction to it. The invitation is to listen to each of these statements one by one while you tune into your inner world to figure out which one resonates best with your recent experience. But it doesn't have to make sense. Best to go with your gut. Now, with a focus on your body's signals, check in to see which of these statements best reflects your experience of the activation. I felt excluded. I felt powerless. I felt unheard. I felt unloved. I felt blamed. I felt disrespected. I felt a lack of affection. I felt uncared for. I felt like I couldn't speak up. I felt manipulated. I felt controlled. I felt like the bad one. I felt forgotten. I felt unsafe. I felt judged. I felt frustrated. I felt disconnected. I felt trapped. I felt lonely. I felt ignored. I felt like I couldn't be honest. I felt like it was unfair. If more than one of these statements fits for you, choose the statement that resonates the most strongly, and keep in mind this statement for the next step. I now invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze as is comfortable. Next, the invitation is to take 3 to 4 gentle breaths, inhaling and exhaling slowly in and out through your nose. Engaging in this breathing practice in this way can soften the ground and allow for a deeper experience. Now, with eyes closed or gaze softened, try to close the cabinets of the mind and anchor in the statement that you selected just now. Invite a childhood memory of having felt that way to arise. For example, if you felt disrespected in reaction to the identified event, invite a childhood memory of having felt disrespected to arise. If you felt ignored, invite a childhood memory of having felt ignored. Trust the first memory that comes to you. If you haven't connected with a memory quite yet, know that with a bit more time and a few extra gentle breaths, the memory that is calling for your attention will eventually surface. And so you may wish to pause this recording until that happens. With the memory in mind, and to strengthen your connection to this specific memory, recall the scene with as much detail as possible and with a focus on your senses. What can you see, hear, smell, touch, taste? Try to recall the specifics of where you were, who was there, what was said, the look on people's faces, the feeling in your body. Now I invite you to connect with your emotional experience at that time. Did you feel scared, sad, mad, embarrassed, or even confused? Did you tell anyone either what happened or how it made you feel? If not, what had you already learned from your environment about doing so? If you did tell someone what happened or how it made you feel, what happened then? Now the invitation is to ask yourself, what were my child self's vulnerable needs at that time? Did they, he, she need comfort, validation, protection, compassion, understanding, patience, encouragement, love, or even celebration. With your eyes closed or gaze softened, imagine or sense this younger version of you in your heart space and gently place your hands there. Tend to your child self in a way that meets these needs with words and action. For example, you might speak loving words of reassurance to them while smoothing their hair or rocking them. Or you might hold them tightly, letting them know that they are safe, they are loved. Or you might even take this time to be silly together or play. Breathe it in and notice how your child self responds when you tend to them in this manner. Look at the look on their face. You may also tune in to how your own physical body responds when tending to them in this way. Then, when it feels right, find a cozy spot inside to tuck them in for now, reminding them that you are with them and that their needs were so valid. You might add that you are so happy, relieved, or grateful that you could be with them in this way, and that you can be there for them in other ways. Once that process feels complete, I invite you to open your eyes to return to the present moment. You may choose to take some time now to reflect on the experience of having gone through this process. You may also wish to journal. What did you learn about yourself, your inner child, your emotional world? Maybe your perception of that activating event has changed, or of the people involved. What are the pearls of wisdom here for you? What do you need going forward? From others, from yourself? How can you integrate this experience into your life? The PESE can offer us the gift of being able to feel more at ease in our body and in the world by tending to some of our most vulnerable emotional memories, and without the need for formal support. Oftentimes, people report increased self-compassion, compassion for the person or people who were activating, clarity regarding one's needs, and the commitment or ability to have those needs met in the present and in the future. In essence, with this process, we can be our own best healer and guide. I hope you found this process to be meaningful, and I invite you to engage with it daily, weekly, monthly, as often as you feel it could be supportive of your healing and growth. Thank you, and be well.